Get chilled with Patriot Ice. We are located at 171 South Frontage Road, 775-727-6561.
Starting today on November 9th, Israel will be putting in place 4-hour daily humanitarian pauses during ground assaults, according to the White House. Even though there have been short-term pauses throughout the last several days, today's announcement is meant to formalize the process and expand upon it. President Joe Biden spoke on the matter and stated that currently it's not possible for a formal ceasefire, and he continued stating that it has taken a little longer than he had hoped for Israel to agree to the humanitarian pauses. He had also asked for a 3-day pause in order to allow negotiations to occur for the release of some of the hostages being held by Hamas. According to Israeli officials, there is an estimate of 239 hostages still being held captive by militants. U.S. officials believe that less than 10 Americans are among the hostages. According to National Security Council spokesman John Kirby, Israel will be announcing each 4-hour window at least 3 hours in advance. They will also be opening a second corridor meant for civilians to use to flee areas that are the focus of the military campaign. Kirby also went on to state that the U.S. has continued to have active discussions regarding the release of the hostages. Talks were reportedly taking place in Qatar regarding a larger release of hostages. CIA Director William Burns was in Doha, Qatar today in order to speak with the Qatari Prime Minister and the head of Israel's Mossad intelligence agency. However, the U.S. has stated that Burns is not playing a lead role in the negotiations. John Kirby stated that, "We know they have lines of communication with Hamas that we don't, and we're going to continue to work with them and regional partners to try to secure the release of all the hostages." Meanwhile, humanitarian aid is increasing from different nations across the world for the Gaza citizens. Saudi Arabia announced that they sent out a cargo plane loaded with 35 tons of food and humanitarian aid to Egypt to be delivered to the Gaza Strip. Denmark is supporting humanitarian causes as well by increasing its humanitarian aid to Gaza by 75 million kroner, or 10.7 million in US dollars. The aid is reported to be channeled via UN agencies and the International Red Cross. French President Emmanuel Macron is also appealing Israel to protect the civilians in Gaza. During a press conference held earlier today in Paris, he stated that all lives have equal worth and said that one cannot fight terrorism without rules and that protecting civilians is non-negotiable. Officials from both Western and Arab nations, the United Nations, and non-governmental organizations were meeting in Paris today to discuss providing aid to civilians in Gaza. However, according to Macron's office, Israeli authorities did not participate.